Well, this is a pretty good way to start a session. Just got down to the lake, not even had a chance to get any bait out, never mind get the bivvy up or get sorted. Fling this rod out, got the other rod out as well, just clipping the spot rod up, and it goes off. He weighed in at 25 pounds 6 ounces. It's a cracking looking linear, even though he's a bit spawned out and looks a bit like a banana in his shape, but very, very happy to kick the session off like this. So let's see who else is around. Well, I can't believe I caught that fish so quickly last night. I've never fished this swim before, so I did a lot of leading around, and I was just constantly casting for about an hour and a half with a 4-ounce lead just to try and find out what's out there. And to be honest, I didn't really find a great deal. It's just a big sort of silty bowl out there towards the centre, and all I found was slightly firmer bits within the silt. So I'd put my left-hand rod on a firm bit of silt and put the right-hand rod just down to the right a little bit next to some weed. I'm just sunk the line, slackened it off a little bit, and I was just setting the bobbin. The left-hand rod just tightened up out the clip, and initially I thought I'd caught it on my cuff or something like that as I moved around to do the other rod. But it soon dawned on me it was a bite, and I couldn't believe it. Nice result that. So after putting that fish back, I managed to get the rod back out there, a bit of bait on, and got the brolly set up before it got dark. And I sat up till quite late last night just watching a few fish, and the fish were just showing everywhere. They were right down the bottom end of the lake. They were to my right, to my left, and everywhere. But I saw a lot of fish over that left-hand rod, and I stayed up as late as I could, expecting a bite. So I finally crashed out about midnight. I really was expecting a fish before I went to bed. And then just as it started to threaten to get light, the bobbin cracked up on the left-hand rod again, and just absolutely ripped off. It really was a pearl intake. It just took a lot of line. Normally I fish tight clutches, so I don't really get takes like that. But it's just open water and just silt out there, so there's nothing for it to get caught on. And it put up a good account of itself, but I've eventually managed to slip the net under it, and it was a nice fish. Nothing massive, but it was a nice fish. Well, I thought I'd get another one after picking that one up straight away. This one weighed in at 21 3/4, and got the bite just as it started to get light at dawn about 20 minutes ago, and it coincided with a bit of a rainstorm, so I got soaked playing it. And at one point I was actually sitting in the brolly, trying to play it from the brolly just to keep dry, but it was worth getting wet for. 21 3/4 pounds. Well, after that fish, I got the rod straight back out there, and I'm quite hopeful of another bite. And I gave it about 2 hours, just on the spot, hoping there's still a bit of bait there and still a few fish feeding around. But I didn't get any more action, so I put 3 or 4 spoms full of bait back on it, and I was hoping for a bite, sort of late morning, midday-ish, but it never materialised. There was still a few fish kicking around then, but I've just noticed a few fish showing quite close in here. It's like a bar of weed at about 15 yards, and the fish are just showing just beyond that. What's just happened is there's been a northerly wind all this time, and it's just flicked around this morning, started pushing a southerly straight into me, and the fish have just started showing right close in. So I've brought in my right-hand rod, and just noticed that the hook point was completely blunted. So I don't know if I've had an aborted take, but anyway, I've just sharpened the hook point up, put a new hook bait on, put a little PVA bag, and just dropped it short, just beyond this weed, and it went down with a nice little thud. So I was really hopeful of that. It was right where the fish were showing. As soon as that rod's gone in, I've not seen another fish in close at all. In fact, I've just seen a couple out a bit further where the right-hand rod was on the first place, so I may have made a mistake there, but time will tell. But I've got another night left, so we'll see what happens. I'll give that rod another couple of hours. If that does nothing, then I'll put it back to the original spot, recast the left-hand rod, bait up, and we'll see what tonight brings. Well, yesterday evening after I got the rods back out again, the fish were just alive. They were all over the swim. They were crashing. They were boshing. They were right down the far end of the lake. They were to my left, to my right, everywhere. And it was just like the previous evening. They were just so active. I don't know whether it was the miserable conditions or whether it was the pressure or what, but I've not seen them as active as that before on this lake. And I was really hoping for another bite yesterday evening. I was just sitting there watching fish, and they weren't a million miles away from me. I wasn't seeing the consistent shows over the spot, but I was seeing quite a few shows within about sort of 10-15 yards of my baited area, so I was quite hopeful. But again, nothing happened yesterday evening. But I did get a bite exactly the same time as the one I got yesterday, just as it started to get light. The bobbin tightened up, pulled out the clip, and just held there. So I quickly ran down, picked up the rod, and I felt a few nods, and then it all just started coming towards me, and the fish just kited straight towards me. I just kept winding down, line down. I think I thought I'd lost it at one point, but then every now and then I just felt another little nod just to confirm he was still there. And he got himself stuck in a weed bed in the own margin. So I just pulled him out the weed bed, and I just netted this big ball of weed with this common in the middle. And it was a nice looking common as well. Oh, look at the colours on this one. Lovely dark common. Had this at the same time as the one I had yesterday. Yeah, just on dawn. It's now a nice misty morning out there and it looks lovely. So happy enough with this. 3 fish for the session so far. I've got a few hours left, but yeah, I don't know how it's going to pan out. I had nothing yesterday after this time, so yeah, I'm not mega confident, but you never know. You never know. This one weighed in at £20 on the nose, so that's 3 20s for the session. That'll do me. Well, after slipping that fish back, I got the rod straight back out to the spot again, and I wanted to get a bit more bait around it because I'm sure I got cleaned out in the night with the amount of fish that were active out there. But I didn't want to put any big spoms smack on the area, you know, right on bite time. I think that was going to spook anything that's out there and set the alarm bells ringing with the fish. And it's too far for catapult range. I'm fishing about 70 yards, and a throwing stick's just a nightmare on there. There's that many seagulls. As soon as you pick up a stick, they're just on you straight away. So the only way I could think of doing it without creating a big disturbance is to use an air bomb. So I clipped the spod rod back 2 rod lengths, clipped the air bomb on, filled it full of boilers, put it out there, hits the clip, spom opens, and I hit it back, and it lands sort of 20 yards short of the spot, and all the boilers just spread out on the spot, which creates a lot less disturbance than the actual, you know, big spom hitting the water. So I put a couple of air bombs out there, and I'm just hoping for the best, really. I've got 2 or 3 hours left, probably 3 hours left before I have to pack up, so I'm just hoping that I might be able to produce another bite, but this sun keeps coming out, and I'd much prefer it overcast, but we'll see, you never know. So 3 hours left, I hope one of them rods goes. Oh, look at this. Just I thought everything was lost. Just put the mics away, just put the bivvy away, everything was away, just coming back for the camera and to wind the rods in, and the right hand rod just rips off completely. Got me stuck in a bit of a weed bed, gave me a little bit of a run around, but I've got him. What a stunning linear. 25 £4, so not quite the biggest of the session, but I think he's the best looking. So what an awesome way to end the session. Really happy with that.